Welcome to Rascal Apiary. My name's Mike and I'm a journeyman beekeeper in North Carolina. Today we're going to talk about where to place your first hive. Alright, you just ordered your bees and now the game is on. Hopefully you checked out our video on getting the right gear. That'll be linked in the description if you haven't seen it. Finding the right place for your beehives is critical to their health and your success as a beekeeper. Keeping your bees off the ground will prevent flooding and predators like skunks who will agitate the bees at night. A stand is the best way. It's mobile and typically not very heavy since you only need to elevate the hive about 2 feet. We have some hives on mobile stands, cemented stands, and platforms. Regardless of the method which you elevate your hives, you'll need to ensure it doesn't break or buckle when the hive reaches its prime weight. Once you select your stand, inspect the ground to ensure your stand won't sink into the ground like this one. The hive was placed on soft ground, and as we received hurricanes throughout this last beekeeping season, the hive sank on one side. You'll want the hive to have at least 8 hours of sun and facing south to southeast. The direction of the hive is to receive morning sunlight on the entrance as early as possible. In the most instances, the hive will also naturally be shielded from wind due to the hive facing south-southeast. This is something I learned as a beekeeper. Before, I never paid attention to which way the wind blew. I just went with it. If you're unable to face your hives to the south or southeast, don't worry, it's not a big deal. What I would suggest is setting up a windbreak to help shield the hive entrance from wind and rain. When setting up multiple hives, it's common to set the hives next to each other, leaving 4 to 6 feet between them. This is so you have room to inspect. What is less known is to slightly angle them away from each other. This is to decrease the amount of drifting the bees do and reduce the chances of varroa migrating from one hive to another. When honeybees graduate to forager level, they will exit the hive and conduct an orientation flight. By using the placement of the sun and features of their hive, they will set a starting point on their search for nectar, pollen, or resin. Upon returning to their starting point, they will return to the hive with their bounty successfully. However, if all the hives are the same color and face the same direction, or weather has pushed the bees off course, they will enter the wrong hive. The hive the bees enter will take their bounty from the bee somewhere near the entrance and then shoo the bee away, or worse, attack it. Minimize this from happening by adding distinctive markers for the bees to orientate to, such as painting shapes on the boxes or painting the boxes different colors. You can also add things like garden flags or spinners. These will serve as landmarks for the bees. When picking a spot, ask a local beekeeping association or a beekeeping mentor for a different point of view. They should be able to let you know what kind of weather to look out for, what kind of pests are heavy in your area, and how far from the neighbors or children to place your hives. If you're planning on placing your hives where children play, keep in mind children will be curious and want to check out the hives. What we do here is we'll place a garden flag in front of the hives. It's about 3 feet from the entrance, and because it's moving most of the day, the guard bees will get used to something moving near the hive and they'll remain docile. Also, educate your children and friends when approaching the hive from the rear, never directly in front, and be careful during the dearth, which is a period of minimal nectar or bee food. The bees get protective if they think you're Winnie the Pooh and are coming for their honey. For our apiary in Northeastern North Carolina, we've gone a few years now with 10 to 20 beehives. We've placed them under trees in full sun, and I can tell you full sun is for us. That's a winner. Full sun has greatly reduced our small hive beetle issue and keeps the hives super active. We like our hives booming, but smaller in size. You won't see us stacking 5 to 7 boxes high. And what we do is we'll just do splits and sell off whatever bees we have if they get too big. Thanks for sticking out to the end of the video. I appreciate you watching, and have a great beekeeping season. Bye.